Hello, welcome to Mama J Speaks Unlimited. Thank you so much for joining us from, I think it's 2:15 until about 3 p.m. today. Thank you for joining us. Today, I have my special guest, Jill Gatto. She's local. She is a phenomenal edible garden designer. She wants to help recreate the way we do our gardening throughout this Pinellas County area. And so we're going to be talking with her today and see what got her into it, what her background is, and all that good stuff. If you'd like to call in and ask her any questions or even participate in the conversation, call 813-639-8255. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for joining us, Jill.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Is this your first time?
It is.
Oh, I love getting first timers.
Yes. So be nice.
I'm always nice. That's why they always want to come back once they've been here. So you're in the Pinellas County area.
Yes.
You live in Largo?
I live in Dunedin.
Dunedin.
Yes.
Okay. And you're originally from where?
From Michigan.
Oh, you're one of those good girls.
Nah. Don't push it.
You're one of the bad girls that came down doing good.
Exactly. It was 18 years ago.
Oh, welcome. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a native Floridian.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, most people don't.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, most people think I'm from New York. But anyways.
No comment.
Yeah. So tell us, what got you into this journey of edible gardening design?
Well, actually, growing up on a farm in Michigan, it was easy. The soil was really nice. It was not depleted of any of the nutrients. So fast forward, I got into the mortgage business when I first moved here. So I spent 15 plus years in the mortgage business, and we all know the ending to that story.
Yes.
So it took me a few years to figure out, now what am I going to do with my life? So a really good friend of mine said, you always have your houseplants, you always have your herbs, you always have your hands in the dirt, and that's your place. You need to go out and find what you can do getting your hands dirty. Mm-hmm. So I was unemployed, and I was volunteering at a thrift store. And I met the lady that I just spent 2 years with as a mentor.
Oh, beautiful.
So it was divine intervention all the way.
Totally.
Totally. There's no such thing as an accident, and I was meant to be there at that very moment. So when I met Jay, I spent the last 2 years managing her garden center and watching her teach and watching how she, is with the customers and the plants. And she's taught me, I can't even tell you, she's been an incredible mentor. And she's with Organic Living, and she's still with Organic Living. And now in the last month, I have flown away from the nest.
Oh, you got your wings and you started to fly solo.
It was time. I was in the nest going, no. And it's like, Jill, you can do this. So the last 6 months, I have been doing workshops, and I have been doing landscape design, and I've gotten a little bit more comfortable with myself. So now,
building your confidence.
Exactly, because I was in the background. I was
watching.
helping customers, and I was playing with the plants, and I was, making sure that the garden center was, doing what it was supposed to do. But she was in the limelight, and I was okay with that because I did not want to be. I know. Yeah. I did not want to be in the front of the camera, so to speak. Yeah. Well, fast forward now, and look where we are. So it took me to do a workshop to really figure out that it's really not about this. It's about what I can teach somebody.
Right, and
and people are so appreciative, and they're so loving and kind. And anybody who wants to deal with a plant is usually a very giving, wonderful person. Now, there has been a few, buttheads of the world who can't grow things because they're really not nice people.
Right.
And I have no problem with saying this isn't for you.
Hey, don't be so judgmental. I'm a very loving person. I just don't know how to keep a plant surviving. I did keep a plant for like 6 months. I was very proud, and I talked to it and said how beautiful it was, and I watered it, and then all of a sudden one day it just died, but it must have known I was moving. So it decided to.
Well, a lot of times, no, it's not your fault, because sometimes if you buy a plant and where it comes from its original source, it's not real healthy. And if you don't know how to feed it, you feed it like a child. And
See,
that's what I
two
do.
kids.
I teach you, and that's what I say to
They've
people too.
survived.
I said, "Do you have children? Yes. Are they alive? Yes. Do you forget to feed them? No." So that's another thing that I do is I remind my customers when it's time to feed your plants. And
At
you know,
least 2 times a day.
one of the very first things that Jay taught me is bugs only go after weak and unhealthy plants.
Oh.
Disease only sets in when the plant is unhealthy. So what we do is we give it the proper nutrients from the earth to keep the plant strong.
Much like the human body.
Exactly.
When the body's not good and strong, you get the
get
viruses
vitamins,
and
you
the
get
bugs. And
Exactly. So when someone says, well, there's a bug hole, well, that's the first thing you say is it's time to feed your plant. That's the plant's way of saying, somebody feed me. So that's what I teach you. Is
you've learned how to communicate with the plant.
Right. And when they wilt,
Amazing.
when they wilt, what's that mean? They need some water.
They need water.
So they do talk to you. Now, there are some unforgiving plants that if you don't water, they will die.
No matter
They're just
what.
not forgiving at all. Rosemary is one. If it's not moist all the time, you let it dry out, it will die. But if you give it water, she'll just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow.
Rosemary, that's a good herb.
That's a good herb. But she's not very forgiving. If you forget to water her for a week and she dries out,
You're done for.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing too. People that's what they don't know, and that's what we're here for. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing too. I'm not just going to give you a plant and give you some nutrients and say, have at it.
Right.
I'm going to say, call me. If something's acting up, text messaging. I get so many pictures like, oh my gosh, what's doing it? And I'll say, well, give it some back guano, give it some minerals, give it, depends on what's going on with it.
So this is what you teach in your workshops. And how often do you have your workshops?
Whenever, wherever.
So it's basically scheduled based upon how many people want to call you up and say, hey, when you're doing your next workshop, I want to get a few people together.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I've done them at green markets. I just got done with a show in Tampa at Tree Mart. And he advertises it. I did it in the fall and I did it in the spring. I mean, just now, last weekend. And there must have been, it was like 20 people. And they're just hungry for information. It was hands-on.
Well, absolutely. A lot of people in this day and age are definitely hungry for not the normal information status quo stuff. People are awakening and realizing that there's more to life than what they thought they are. They're waking up.
They are waking up. And once you put the analogy with a plant in a human body, it becomes intimate. And just like if you figure out too, it's and the direct relationship that we have with a plant is so incredible. What they put out, we take in. What we put out, they take in. There's an intimate relationship between us and the plants and the trees. We need each other. So once you put that little bit of along with the water too, because the water and some sunshine, right? You can't just neglect
the water reflects the emotions, the emotional state of the whole world based upon how healthy that water is, and then the trees and the fruits and the vegetables. I mean, we really are definitely connected, and that is why we need to start going to the organic realm of growing our own food and then sharing it among our communities.
I agree.
And that is something that you definitely participate in. You also do vertical gardens as well, correct?
I do, yes. There's a vertical. You can stack it as high as you want. It's recycled plastic. It's made here in the States. It's food grade. It doesn't leach. And that was the very first thing I came out with. And I worked for that company a long time ago. And I thought, one day. And then I met Jay. And I was like, put two and two together. We're all connected. So, if someone's limited on space, it's the perfect.
So people in apartments and little small homes.
Anybody can do this. And what I pride myself on is you can start with a little basil on your windowsill of your kitchen. Get your confidence up. And then if you want 20 fruit trees in your yard, you call me. I have a landscape crew. They'll come in, dig the holes, plant them properly, because you can't plant them in the sand.
No.
You have to prepare the soil.
Oh, really?
The sand does not hold the nutrients. So if you're not holding the nutrients, the plant is going to get weak, and then the bugs are going to come in. So that's what we teach. is just like anything else. You don't build your house on sand.
Right.
You need a foundation. So once you get some decent soil, and then we have the 4 products that we put back in the soil. And then every 3 months you feed your plants. That's it.
What about the idea with the Pinellas County area? It just came to me. Maybe perhaps starting a movement of creating edible landscape throughout Pinellas County, because there's a lot of people there. We are dealing with the homeless as well. If we create edible gardens and an edible landscape throughout, that would help so many homeless people. That would help so many families that are struggling to go to the grocery store and get some good healthy food, because grocery stores these days, it's just processed and GMO filled and and everything else. So what about that idea of getting that going as well at some point?
There's some people that I've met that know of some abandoned houses throughout, whether it's St. Pete or communities, and they're trying to get those in communication with the city as far as, let us use the backyard. Let us, bring some people in less fortunate to help, and then they will reap the benefits from it.
Right.
And so there are people out there working on it, and I've actually been invited to do a workshop out at one of these facilities in St. Pete. So that is up and running as far as, getting that. So anytime I can plug into anything like that, absolutely, you're totally right. Because you know what? Because they feel like they're doing something, and they feel prideful, and it makes them feel better.
Right.
Plus, they're going to eat the nutritious fruit and veggies because we're not putting crap in it. So, and then I'm targeting schools. I have a project with an elementary school, and I went out and I did a design, and the principal's all for it, and we have approval for 2 trees. So she's in the middle of building the raised bed right now. So when we get it completed, we're going to have a workshop and have all the kiddies in her particular class, and everybody in the whole school is invited. And we're doing a hands-on workshop, and the parents will be invited. And it's my first school.
What school?
It's up actually in Gainesville.
Oh, wow.
So I will go.
You're traveling.
Well, people need you.
Yes.
So I will go. And plus, my boyfriend lives up there.
Oh, well,
that
shout out to her boyfriend.
He's wonderful.
I guess you guys, that ought to be an interesting story, eh?
We won't go there.
She's suddenly turning a little red. But anyways, it's all with love.
He's very supporting, and he totally believes
in what you're doing.
Absolutely. I couldn't do it without him.
Does he help you with any of the projects? And
he's not
events?
A person to be in front of the camera, but he's very earthy. He lives on 3 acres in the woods, and he loves the earth. And he just is a very, very much a tree hugger. So at first he was skeptic. He was very skeptic when I was showing him these products, like anybody else. So I had to show him, and if I could actually prove it to him, who's poisoned by the world, which we all are getting to be that way, and he's like, babe, this stuff is working. I go, because we put a peach tree in his yard, and it's
really?
It didn't look
How
that
long
good.
did it take to grow the peach tree?
Well, I bought it. It was a 7-gallon, and it was about this tall.
Oh, okay.
And they're deciduous, so in the wintertime, they don't have any leaves, and they look like crap. So it was kind of funny because, his mom was like, the peach tree's not looking that good. So I'm like, okay, now I have 2 of you. So knowing it was going to come back in the springtime, that's how nature is.
Right.
So I gave it all the products. In 2 weeks from that very point, obviously we were coming into spring, and it was filled with leaves. And then 2 weeks later, it has probably 8 little peaches. And that's a little 7-gallon. It's getting the proper nutrients. I dug when I planted it, didn't put it right in the sand. Like I said, I dug the hole 3 times the size, put proper soil in, and that's when you put your nutrients in. And it's 91 trace minerals, bat guano, which is bat poop, worm castings.
91 what?
Trace minerals.
Trace minerals.
From an ancient seabed.
Yeah.
So think about the
then you
nutrients
said
in our sea, the nutrients in our seas, seaweed, seabeds.
Oh,
that's
seabeds.
What it is. It's from the seabeds is what it is. It's from a mine that they dig it out. And then the bat guano comes from a cave, an old railroad cave. I'd like to harvest that, wouldn't you? But, it's high in nitrogen. And you think about, the bats' diets.
Well, what about, and then there was something else that you said that you use in the soil that you get prepared for. What was the other one? There was like 3 of them.
The bat guano mix is the bat guano, worm castings, and blood meal.
Wow, sounds like a Wicca thing.
It smells lovely. And then we have a probiotic for the plant, which is the good bacteria. It's our microbes. And see, these are the good guys, like the good guys in your own immune system, right? You give them the proper nutrition and I'm
writing this all down, everybody, so I hope you're learning something.
Exactly.
Oh, we could do that. Like next month, we'll create a little workshop on air.
I would love that. I would do a hands-on. But again, the microbes feed off the minerals, so then it absorbs into the root base. So then it brings in the worms because the good bacteria and all that underworld is actually developing. So then you put bat guano on it when something's healthy, and it doubles your production.
Wow.
And it's that easy.
And it's all natural. There's no of the chemicals and pesticides or anything.
And I invite people to taste the minerals because the dogs get it, we get it, chickens get it. So the minerals are going back up into the eggs. Think about the minerals.
Wow.
It's such an important part of the human body. Mm-hmm. So you can eat it. I can eat it. So why wouldn't the plants can eat it? So there's no toxic. The bat guano I wouldn't encourage to eat.
No.
And
how about using it as a facial? No,
yeah, exactly. You won't have any friends. You can do that with the minerals though. I did the scrubs.
Oh really?
So next time I'll bring some in, and we can just do a demonstration that way. And then there's a 4th product called biochar.
Biochar
is bio is life. And char is like a charcoal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So when
you burn, you know how they have forest fires?
Right.
And they say, oh no, what's happening? Well, all that wood and all those bushes are burning back into the soil. All the nutrients from those trees and leaves and bushes are all going back into the soil.
Wow.
And the little chunks of wood that the biochar is, it holds the microbes and the nutrients. So the plant doesn't have to work very hard. It's holding it as a time release. So it's very important. Do you need it to be successful? No. Because you can do it with just the 3, the minerals, the microbes, and the bat guano.
Right.
But if you want your plant to just be healthy and happy and, totally doesn't have to work for, to be that healthy.
And beautiful.
It's beautiful. So, but, people sometimes are on a budget. So, if you just start out with just the minerals, you're stepping in the right direction. You're giving it the most important, like in a human body, it's like you're a multivitamin.
Right.
Okay. So then you think about when you eat yogurt, that's your probiotics, the good cultures in yogurt. That's your microbes.
I do like yogurt. What's your favorite type of yogurt?
I love blueberry.
Blueberry.
Yeah, the Greek is the newest Greek yogurt.
Yeah, that's the newest craze.
I know. I know.
So with all of this, where do you see edible garden design and what you're doing? Where do you see it going in the next 3 to 5 years? Or do you hope for it to go?
I absolutely. And in my mind, I would like to see a lot of little Jills and Jays all over the planet teaching workshops, and then people buying the minerals from me at wholesale. And then they have their own little garden, whatever, just to duplicate it, but not franchise.
Right.
Because the more of us that are out there teaching, the more people we can affect.
Exactly.
And we can just give them that confidence, and they're going to feel better.
Yes. So
think about it that way.
Yeah.
So if I could just, become a mentor now that I've come from being a protege and teach them, and then they end up buying the products, at wholesale from me. And then, they can buy the fruit trees from, they can become a nursery or what have you. And then you just have all these little people out there. And I would like to have like 2 or 3 landscape crews.
Hear that, everybody? 2 to 3 landscape crews. So if you're interested, Chris is going to flash up her information and where you can actually contact her, email her, call her. You can go to her website, learntogroworganicfood.com. That will be a wonderful place to go for you to look at her website, see everything she has going on. Definitely connect with her, find out when she's going to do her next workshop, or even contact me. Should I throw out my info? Okay, I will. 727 678-4339. You can actually contact me. And if you want to create a group or create an event and you want me to have Jill come in, just give me a call, reach out to me. I'll be happy to set that up for you as well. And it sounds like it's going to be a good time. And what is your inspiration? Where does your inspiration come from when you do all this?
I always say, all my inner strength, comes from God and the universe, and everything's connected. And I had to go through all that bad garbage through the mortgage industry to get this humble.
Do you feel like a lotus flower?
I do.
I totally feel like a lotus.
And it's funny because, but it took to be humbled to say.
I know, right?
And he does that. And I say, and now hindsight, I'm like, thank you. But through the middle of it, you're like, how am I going to get through this? And it takes you a few years. Like, it's not like the quick and easy route. No.
It's such a process. You go through it everything. 6 to 7, 8 years. I just had my birthday. I'm not going to say how old I turned.
Come on.
But when I began this journey, I like you've always been connected with God.
Always.
You always know this, right? But you get to a point like in your 20s where you think you got everything by.
Yep, I got this.
And that the ego tends to perk up more than you wanted to admit. And then major things happen to knock you down a few pegs to the point that you have to surrender yourself to the universe and to God.
Exactly.
And then you start to see a whole new revelation of light.
Yes. And age has a lot to do with that too.
Yes. Don't you love the new wisdom?
It is. It is absolutely the truth though too, because I think, too, is if we didn't bottom out or we didn't go through that garbage, we wouldn't hold on to that memory.
Right.
I don't want to be that person anymore.
Me, yeah.
I
am so far removed
from that person.
Exactly.
And now, to be able to be so blessed and to be able to teach people and have people say, look, I'm growing that. Look. And
then not only that, they're recognizing the divinity in you as well. Because you work through that whole process. And that's the thing. We're all lettuces and onions. Onions, we cry a lot.
You're so funny.
And once we get to the core, we realize how beautiful we all are. And we allow that to shine through. And that's where you're at on this beautiful journey of changing lives, of helping people that are really green thumb oriented. Yep. Because I realize I don't have what it takes, but I
will now. No, you will now.
You'll help me. You'll be a one Kenobi.
Oh, I will. I will. You will no longer be lost. No, seriously, I will bring you a plantain. Maybe we can just do that as an example.
Right.
And then you take it home and you prove to everybody that, look. Because there's more than just loving your plant and talking to your plant.
Right.
It's true. And
people don't really realize. Have to come to my mother's house, though, and see the yard.
I will.
The front and the backyard, because I definitely see there is a potential to have some crews go in there, plant the gardens, and like we'll use the food, but whatever's left over, share it with whomever helps with the backyard. I mean, it's a lush.
Is it?
It is lush.
Wonderful.
And the front yard is lush. That when the grass doesn't get cut, little white flowers start popping up and the bees come.
So it's a happy yard already.
It is overall. It's a very happy yard, and we just invite all of that. And we've had butterflies, and dragonflies.
Plus you're peaceful people. I think that obviously you have to bring them in with the right type of plants and flowers, but I think that whole
we had a huge bird of paradise. Did you know a bird of paradise grows really, really tall?
Really, 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 really tall.
I did not realize it, and then it was at my mom's house. There was like 2 birds of paradises, but they got so big and just the house is old, so my brother had to cut it down.
Okay. We can put something edible there now.
Yes.
So that's what, I do. I'll come out, and if you want an apple tree, I'll say, okay, I recommend that you put the apple tree on this side of the house.
Wow.
Because people don't realize, if your house is facing west or what have you,
right,
or of avocados or mangoes or anything,
that's
figs,
amazing.
cherries. Yep. And then,
all that cool stuff can be grown here in Florida, despite
Absolutely.
what rumors tell everybody else. But at any rate, can you believe it? We're at the end of the show already.
No. But as long as you prepare the soil,
yes,
you can grow those here.
Yes. At any rate, thank you so much for the plethora of information that you just threw out there for us.
Yep.
And I hope everybody rewatch. Sorry. Blah, 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 blah.
Say it again.
Rewatch the show. It's going to be archived. But thank you for joining us, anyone that did make it to this 2:15 to 3 o'clock show. Thank you so much, Jill,
You're
for
wonderful.
your presence.
Everything you do is great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'll be seeing you all later on this evening from 7 to 8, as we will have Miss USA herself, show business, coming on the Late Enough with Mama J. See y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.